This time we're talking about Night Road. This is going to be a spoiler-free review, and this book's by Kristin Hannah. So I've been on a huge Kristin Hannah kick lately. We read Nightingale, The Four Winds, and then now this is my third book by her, Night Road. And I'm going to tell you guys about it, and then I want to see if it like reminds you of anything, okay? Kind of like the pop quiz. Okay, the book starts out with this girl named Lexi who's in foster care. But then her social worker tells her she actually found some family up in like Washington or Oregon, one of those states, and that she's going to go live with her. What?
Can I pick the book?
Yes.
Gallant.
No.
But that's so far from
Heidi.
What was your guess?
Heidi.
No. Keep guessing.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
Okay.
I'm right.
No, you're both wrong. So she goes and lives with this lady who's her grandma's sister. Okay, so she's older, and it's like the first time she hasn't really been in foster care in a long time. Her mom was kind of like a deadbeat. Okay, so she starts school, and she makes friends with this girl, and I'm blanking on her name for some reason. She makes friends with this girl, and then turns out, so she makes friends with Mia, and Mia has a twin brother named Zach. So Lexi goes from having like no family, no support system to like now having a best friend, like actual home. And Mia's family like really takes her in. Like she starts doing everything like with her family. They think like vacations, pedicures, whatnot. Mia's super well off, lives in like this super fancy house. Okay. So the main characters in this book are Lexi, that girl I just told you about, and Jude, which I find this interesting. Jude is Mia's mom. So it's kind of a interesting take on a book because you're getting like an adult's perspective, but then also a child's perspective at the same time. And then the book kind of goes throughout many years and follows them throughout, like as they go from like 12 to 18 and older. And when they're like 18, they're at their graduation, they're at this party. One of them drives intoxicated, they crash, one of the three dies. So I'm not gonna tell you who. And then it follows like the family, how they cope with that, but also like who's responsible for that, and follows that whole train wreck and that whole big collision of like emotions and stress and everything.
Yeah. Didn't you do a review of a Colleen Hoover book that was about the aftermath of a DUI?
You win, Liz.
How many points do I get?
What? You get 5 points.
Okay.
So I read this book without even reading the bio. I just looked up Goodreads and I noticed like it had a higher rating. So I wanted to read it, started reading it, and I was like, this kind of is like, I don't really love reading about 12-year-olds, which I guess sounds mean, but like as an adult, I'm like, yeah, they're just kind of young, you know? But then it takes them, they go from like 12 to 16 to 18 to then like 25. So I did like that aspect, but as I was reading it, I was like, gosh, I think Kristin Hannah stole Colleen Hoover's idea. And
which book was written first?
and I looked that up, and turns out Colleen Hoover stole Kristin Hannah's idea, because this was written in 2011 and this was written in 2022. And they are eerily similar to the point of like one of the so this is gonna be spoilers now. Are you guys gonna read this?
Should I read it?
Maybe, but I won't remember this, I feel like.
I really don't think it's like a huge. I won't say it. I will leave you guessing, but there are like, if you broke down reminders of him into 3 main bullet points, like this happened, this happened, this happened, it's the same exact bullet points of Night Road. But I will say Night Road is an A book to me because it takes you from like the very beginning to what happened afterwards as like adults, whereas this only picks up kind of at the end. I feel like this was like the 30-minute overview of a story, whereas this went in depth and a lot more points of view, and you got to really understand the story and why that it happened and like the consequences of that.
Which one is a better reading style? Writing style, not reading style.
Yeah, I knew what you meant. This is a way better writing style.
Okay.
I mean, you guys read The Nightingale. Like her,
Yeah.
even if it's not historical fiction, it's still written very well. And I didn't get to points where I was like, oh, like there's a lot of fluff in here. I wish she just kind of summed it up. It was still really good. I read it, it's like 400 pages. No, it's like 360. I read it in like 4 or 5 days. So it's binge worthy for sure.
I like it.
So I guess, yeah, I'd rate it an A. Highly recommend. And especially if you liked Reminders of Him, this is like an even better version. So go read it.
Okay, I'll add it to my list.
Do it.
I will. Don't tell me what to do.
Okay.